When envy or lust are present, we are elevated. We are elevating ourselves. And we say, again, these things must bow before us. And where this intersects and comes down then to the issue of thankfulness is this. Is that we not only elevate ourselves when lust and envy are there, but we begin to devalue and de-elevate the things that we already have. When you are in a time where you are envious or you are lustful, at the same time, I'll tell you what you are not. You are not aware of what you already have. You can be in your own car and want somebody else's car and completely forget that what you have is already going down the road. That's what it does. It erases what is already there, as though it didn't exist. You may have been happy yesterday, but all of a sudden today, what's happening in your mind? What's happening in your heart? Now today, for some reason, your wife or your husband, they're just not quite good enough anymore, are they? And today, for some reason, your car is not good enough. It doesn't quite have the acceleration that the Porsche next to you does. Why doesn't my Honda have the same acceleration as a Porsche? It must be because I need a Porsche. I mean, right? Logic would dictate. No. Envy would dictate that. Your church isn't good enough, and the people you're around, your friends, they're not good enough. I need some new friends. You ever heard somebody say that? I need new friends. Ugh, that's kind of an odd statement. Your job's not good enough, is it? I need 10 times more income than I have now. This is just not enough, even though you're alive. My kids aren't good enough, Man, but if I had those kids, they never talk back to their parents. Never. Yeah, they do. You're drunk. That's what you are. You're drunk on not enough. And this is why I talked before about the fact that these things lead you to a kind of a spiritual stupor or drunkenness. They lead to confusion and swirling in your life. When you've ever spoken to someone, and when I've dealt with this in counseling, dealing with divorce, or if people are wanting to leave their spouse or leave their family, you can pretty much bet that envy and lust are right there at the door, knocking away. You can just hear it. I'm not happy, someone says. I'm not happy with this person. I'm not happy in this marriage. I'm not happy with this situation. I'm not happy with my home. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Okay, we've established that you're not happy. Great. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave what you have? Because you're not happy. Because you're not happy with what you already have. You have it. It's yours. But envy and lust will tell you that it's not enough. And you'll hear your own voice, and you'll be convinced by it in some way. Some kind of stupor that convinces you that your happiness is the only thing that matters. Brothers and sisters, it is not. I want you to be happy. I like being happy. Happiness is a good thing, but it cannot be the God of your life. That is a false God. Envy and lust are right there, and they speak to us. They say things like this: just take it. Just leave. Just go. Envy and lust will tell you to leave rather than to stay. And with these at the helm of your life, you will see everyone else's provision, and you'll think that you deserve it, even though the truth is, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't deserve that thing. But when you think you do, thievery becomes logical. Isn't that weird? That thievery would actually be like, make sense to me. You know what? It makes sense that I would just take that thing. Take that person. Pursue that thing. I deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve better. You ever heard that? I deserve better. Compared to what? It's a statement that has no answer because it is based on no foundation. You know, most sins are actually thievery in disguise. You've heard of the 10 Commandments, right? Another way to think of them are the 10 thieves. Think about it. Worship the Lord your God only, right? So all other worship is thieving, is taking away from the one who deserves it. Don't commit adultery, right? Because by doing so, you are thieving, you are taking away from what you said you would be committed to. And then, of course, envy's in there. All the commandments are forms of thievery. You're not supposed to use the Lord's name in vain. Why? Because when you do that, you are thieving, you are taking from His glory. You are stealing. I think I've made it pretty clear that lust and envy are terrible things. And if I haven't, then I apologize. But they are. So then what does, and you may be asking this yourselves, how do you fight against it? And what does thankfulness have to do with helping us to have a cure, an actual cure? Not just be aware of the problem, be like, yeah, it's there. Okay, so I'm envious. Okay, so I lust once in a while. No. What's the cure? Thankfulness. Thankfulness is the cure to lust and envy. A pastor that I really like, he's up in Philadelphia. His name is Joe Foch, and he teaches on a lot on kind of conquering sin in our lives. And he says this thing, and I've heard him say it over and over again. It becomes truer and truer the more I hear it. But he says this: you don't conquer a desire like lust or envy. You don't conquer it by having a lack of desire. You conquer it by having a greater desire, a greater love. Let me say it once again. You don't conquer bad desire with no desire, right? This is, and just so you know, this is the reason why the kind of certain kind of Buddhist principles of the answer to wanting things is to not want at all is absolutely foolish. It's impossible. I don't know if you ever heard this, but there was an interview that was done with there was this Buddhist monk, and they were discussing some kind of theological issues with with a kind of a really well-known Christian evangelist, and they were talking about this issue of wanting and stuff, and so the evangelist asked this person, okay, so if let me get this straight, if we're supposed to not want at all, right? And I understand it's I think it's attempting for this to be a solution, but I hope you'll understand through this that it's really not. If we're supposed to not want, then why does the Dalai Lama want Tibet to be free? You see that? The issue is not lack of wanting, because even within that worldview, it is destroyed by a simple statement like that. And I hope you can trace with that. The issue is wanting something greater, a greater love. The love diet. And thankfulness is this greater love that can conquer lust and envy in your heart and in mine.